Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and it's time for my much anticipated review of Crossfire.
Crossfire, you get caught up in the crossfire.
No, I apologize for that. I'm talking about B-Daman Crossfire. B-Daman is a series that has been imported by Hasbro and centers around a series of marble launchers. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have been asking me for my opinion on B-Daman Crossfire because I revealed a few videos ago that I in fact collect the old style B-Daman. Now, the original B-Daman came out during the big Millennium gotta import whatever you can from Japan craze that was going on at the time. It involved a core component called the Zero System, onto which a various assortment of pieces were attached. There were just so many different parts. Each set came with like 3 or 4 major important parts that actually affected how the B-Daman performed, and there was a bunch of places to put it. There was the front of the head, there was the back of the head, there was the top of the head, the toes, the ankles, the shoulders, the hands, just so many places to put all these special parts, and the fact that you could like just buy a couple with different sets of parts, just match them together, was the huge appeal. In fact, there was a pair of them where that was their entire gimmick. And admittedly, they were kind of silly and cartoonish, what with their bright colors and their various parts which could easily fall off, but otherwise they were actually pretty fun. They were customizable to an incredible degree. For example, you can see that my signature one, Magnum Revolver, has changed since the last time you saw it. So now, roughly a decade later, B-Daman has come back in the form of B-Daman Crossfire.
Crossfire!
No, already did that joke. The actual B-Daman have gotten an incredible number of changes. Their colors are a lot more muted and darker, they're not as colorful and cartoonish, and their appearance is, in general, a lot more streamlined and epic. But how do these new B-Daman compare to the original? Now, these new B-Daman are fairly similar to the older ones. You can load them up with a couple of marbles and you push a plunger in the back in order to launch them, and each of them comes with some kind of pin or target that you can practice shooting with. But what the Crossfight B-Daman has is it actually has a different kind of core system. The original B-Daman all had the same core, with maybe a minor variation here and there. In the case of the Crossfight B-Daman, each core actually has a different set of prongs and their own advantages and weaknesses. For example, while this Thunder Leo here has a power base designed to launch the marbles with as much force as possible, this Lightning Device has a rapid fire base which allows it to fire more marbles in succession. Unlike the original B-Daman, which sort of clipped together, these newer B-Daman are actually held together with bolts and screws, similar to the new Beyblades. They're actually taken apart with a Phillips-style screwdriver, and the screwdriver that comes with them can actually store the bolts while you swap the parts around, and that's kind of cool, I guess. But the thing about the system is, it's really kind of taken a lot of the creativity out of it. With the originals, when you place parts on it, you can see what parts they affect. For example, the Helio Breaker arms squish in on the launching pegs in order to keep them from expanding out as far to launch with more force. And this part here allows you to load in more marbles. You can see what it's doing there. With these hands and arms and feet, I can't really see what kind of effect they'd have if I swapped them out. So really the only customization relies mostly on appearance. I mean, Lightning Device has like some little wheels on the feet here, but they don't actually reach the surface, so they don't actually have any kind of effect or benefit. Although some of them do come with like a little part, like Thunder Lion here kind of comes with a little thing that goes on the end of its plunger, I guess to make it a more firm grip for your thumb, but is that really all there is to it? And I also have a third one called Lightning Fin, which comes with this thing that where you stick your fingers that actually makes it look kind of like a hypodermic needle, and I guess those two can be combined. There's still posts in the back of the head and on the front where you can mount things, but really I get just one little piece of plastic for each one that I get. This is my reward for dropping $8, $9, $10 on one of these things? That's the thing, the originals, they came with 2 or 3 parts that could actually make a substantial difference. Like, I have all of Helio Breaker's important parts on here. It has the arms, which of course increase the powers, but it has the feet and the heel parts, which make it an incredibly stable platform and able to stand up even with all this extra stuff on it. And I was actually able to combine it with the other parts from this this Knight thing here, which comes with a little thing that's supposed to be a bonus sight, a thumb plunger, kind of like what you see on Thunder Lion, and a set of attack wings, which also compress on the launching parts to make it more forceful. All those came together and you were able to mash them together into one gigantic machine. But these guys, they just come with one little thing. I mean, it really is a big sacrifice in creativity. I mean, the bolts mean that they held together a lot longer, but is it really worth the creativity lost? Because that was one of the things that I thought was the most fun about the originals, is just constantly swapping and exchanging parts and seeing what kinds of looks you could make and just totally pimp them out. Now, in order to pimp them out, you only get like one part each. That, I don't know, I think that's kind of a big disadvantage to it. Now, some of these B-Daman do come with some better mod parts, like the deluxe sets. For example, Lightning Device came with this this Cyclone Loader, which is supposed to increase my capacity by a whole bunch. So I can actually dump like a ton of marbles in here, and it'll be able to carry them all and load them all so that I can just keep firing. And with a rapid fire type like this, having such a large capacity is actually pretty nice. But they are a bit more, like in order to get a special part like this, they have to be like $13. Now, also in kind of a funny coincidence, these big pieces that go on the back of the head of these newer ones can actually mount onto the originals with a little bit of patience here. Although the older parts don't go onto the newer ones. They're actually stopped by a little piece under here, so that's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, that would be like if the Xbox 360 could play Xbox One games.
Superman!
Now, before I use these things, I should probably have an arena to catch the marbles in so I don't lose them or anything. Now, they do have an arena for the B-Daman, which is about $30-40, or you could just do what I did and make a totally ghetto one out of a cardboard box. Now, going with it, the rapid fire type definitely lives up to its name, but honestly, performance-wise, these things are about the same level as the original B-Daman. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what the innovation with these new B-Daman are. I mean, I guess maybe the fact that they're bolted together, kind of like the newer Beyblades are. But the thing is, with Beyblade Metal Fight, they had metal-on-metal ring clashing, which was a totally new concept. And the idea was that the fights were so extreme that these new Beyblades had to be bolted shut. It really upped the ante and made things more extreme. I really don't know what these new B-Daman up that much at all. I mean, I guess there's the fact that each one has a different set of prongs, but that's not customizing, that's just making a choice. Wait, you know what? There's a TV show attached to it. Maybe it's something that'll totally blow us away and be absolutely incredible. Okay, so starting off, we're in a major city where B-Daman is played everywhere, and oh, let me guess, it's the popular children's toy. It turns out to have a dark underground secret thing.
Mystery.
And let me guess, just like Bakugan, there's some that talk and participate in some kind of underground... Ah! Really? Really? Have people totally run out of ideas? I mean, the original took place in this kind of Wild West / Wraithmaster / One Piece alternate reality where the main character was raised by cats and had this sort of gunslinger appeal that was really appropriate. It was weird, it was silly, it was horribly dubbed, but it was different. The fact that they were actually trying something different than the popular children's toy has dark underground secret approach is really what drew me to the original. And this, it's just kind of collapsed into the same mainstream stuff we've seen with Bakugan and Beyblade and Beywield and all those silly things. It's kind of why the series I like right now is a little show called LBX. I mean, it's kind of the similar thing. Popular children's toy has dark underground secret, but it really deconstructs it and takes it seriously. These little LBX robots, this is kind of actually 1-to-1 scale, unlike a Gundam. They're these little things controlled by your cell phones that are normally used for kids for battling, but they have such incredible potential that the military and several disreputable groups are actually developing LBX that can be applied for military purposes, such as some that can actually kill people. It's incredibly dark, it's incredibly violent, it's incredibly good, so of course we're never going to see it localized here in the United States. Really a shame. But honestly, from a B-Daman anime, from the original one I encountered before, I expected something a bit more creative. And honestly, I'm just kind of disappointed. Well, take it or leave it, that's B-Daman. It's still kind of fun. It doesn't have as much customization as the original, but if you didn't get to experience the originals, this is not a half bad chance to catch up if you don't want to try buying some of the originals on eBay. So, well, that's B-Daman. Maybe I'll review LBX later, but until then, this is Kohdok signing off.
Crossfire.